Yeah. Thank you all for coming. I'm Leslie Aholm, A-A-H-O-L-M, Director of Communication for the City of Boulder. I have just a very brief media update. We've been doing these fairly regularly since the 26th. Following my brief comments, the mayor has a couple of comments that she would like to make. For the record, it's Mayor Leslie Durgan, L-E-S-L-I-E, Durgan, D-U-R-G-I-N. She is the mayor of the City of Boulder. Boulder Police continue their investigation of the Ramsey homicide. This case has been designated as the highest priority for the Boulder Police Department. The latest information that can be released is the following. Police anticipate releasing the crime scene later today, Friday, or at the latest tomorrow, Saturday. They are planning to have their field officers who went to the Atlanta area back on Monday, as we indicated yesterday. The police are aware that the Ramsey family evidently flew back into Jefferson County Airport early this morning. We have not confirmed a time to speak with the Ramseys. We are working with their attorneys. We will be setting that up. We're in the process of getting that set up. When we have more information on that, we can let you know. But right now, we are in the process of setting up that interview. The voicemail tip line, which many of you so kindly publicized for us, a lot of people have been seeing that number, which is 303-441-4310. We have received a substantial number of calls. These have ranged from suggestions, opinions, ideas, to potentially some leads. Police have assigned personnel to monitor and log in those calls. They will be following up on those that seem to have some validity and some importance to the case. There has been a lot of media, concern about the lack of information or seeming lack of information coming out of the Boulder Police Department. I think on behalf of the police department, I would like to say that in response to the comments and criticisms about not confirming rumors or providing, in what some people would like, more extensive details of the case, the police department states that they will continue to investigate this case with the highest professional standards. The Boulder Police Department has a long history of being highly professional, of providing very competent police work, and does enjoy the full support of the community. There are certain facts in this case that probably only the killer knows, and perhaps the police know, and that is where that's going to stay for the integrity of this case. The likelihood of getting a successful conclusion, which I'm sure you all want as well as all of us, is the integrity of that information, keeping it close, and the police department will continue on that mode throughout the remainder of the case. What I'd like to do now is let the mayor, Leslie Durgan, speak to you a few minutes about the sort of the mood in the community, and she can update you on some of the things that she's been hearing. Leslie?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I wanted to talk a little bit about the reaction in Boulder and to answer some of the questions that some of you have asked, and I'm sure are on the minds of other people. The first is, what is the reaction in the community? And I think that, of course, people are grieving for the situation and recognize that this is a tragedy. But I have been asked frequently, is there widespread fear in Boulder? And the answer is no. And there is certainly no cause for that widespread fear. I want to assure the citizens of Boulder of two things. One of them is that I have complete confidence in the Boulder Police Department. And as we have said before, and I will say again, what we want out of this is not only to determine who the murderer was, but to get a conviction. And that will be the ultimate conclusion, successful conclusion of this case. And so I fully support the police department in doing whatever they need to preserve the integrity of this case so that we can achieve a successful conclusion. The second question that I have been asked frequently by the media, and frankly only once by a citizen, is whether there is a killer on the loose and do we need to take special precautions in the city. Certainly as parents, and I am one, we make sure that our children are safe, and we do that all the time, and I would expect parents to continue to do that. But I think that people in Boulder have no need to fear that there is someone wandering the streets of Boulder, has been portrayed by some people, particularly in talk radio, looking for young children to attack. Boulder is safe. It's always been a safe community. It continues to be a safe community. And so I want to both assure the citizens of Boulder and really express on behalf of the community our appreciation for the police department, for the very thorough, professional job that they are doing in order to bring this case to a successful conclusion. Well, several things that have been released as part of this investigation already indicate to me that, and I'm no expert at this, but that there isn't somebody who is just wandering up and down the streets looking for potential victims. Well, they reported, at least, that there were no visible signs of forced entry into the home, that it appeared that someone may have known the home well. And so that would indicate to me that there is not just a random act, and I don't think we need to worry about that in Boulder. In fact, we never need to worry about that in Boulder, and this case does not change that.
The police have come under a certain amount of criticism. At least other police departments have said they would have handled the investigation very differently. I mean, do you appoint the police chief?
No, the city manager appoints the police chief. The city council appoints 3 staff members in the city of Boulder: the attorney, the city manager, municipal judge. All other employees report to the city manager.
Do you have any concerns, though, in terms of how the police handled the investigation from the beginning? I mean, not searching the house, suggesting to the dad that he searched the house and then he finds the body. Any thoughts on that?
I have no reason to question the police at all in their investigation.
Do you have any concerns about the fact that the family flew to Atlanta and supposedly there were no Boulder detectives who went along?
No, I have no concern about that at all. And there was all sorts of, from my point of view, nonsensical speculation that the family would not come back. We know, in fact, that they have returned to Boulder, and I support the police in what they allowed. You know, I think it's important to note that no one has been charged in this case. And the Ramseys, under whatever circumstance, lost their daughter. And I would hope, as a caring community, without any reason to question at that time, that we should allow parents to bury their child. And so I think the police made the right choice.
With only one homicide in the city of Boulder for all of 1996, is it fair to question the Boulder Police Department's experience and ability to investigate a homicide of this sort?
I don't think so. Just because you have one homicide in a year, I think is actually a sign of remarkable strength in a community. It's something that we had hoped we would not have any homicides, of course, in 1996.
Have police actually told you there's no need to fear a killer on the loose?
No, I am taking that information, frankly, from a lot of the work that you all have reported in terms of what the situation was. I've not talked to the police independently by myself.
Is there any indication that the family will
Supposed
not
to be wrapped up
cooperate?
earlier.
Hold up, I can't hear 2 of you at once.
The investigation was supposed to be wrapped up earlier in the week. Is there any reason it's gone on this long? Do you know why it's taken them so long to wrap this up?
I don't know that a deadline was ever given. And I certainly support the police in doing what is necessary to doing a very thorough job. And it takes time, and I think we ought to give them that time and not be rushed by media or people who are looking for easy answers to complex questions.
Is there any indication the family will not cooperate with the police?
Not that I'm aware of.
Excuse me. If I could, I know you have specific questions of the mayor concerning the community, the calls that the one call, excuse me, that she
One
has
call.
received from a citizen. That's fine. She has not been, as I have not been, briefed on a regular basis by the police department. She is not here to answer questions about the specifics of the case.
Can I ask you a question, Ms.
Yes.
Abel? There has been a complete autopsy done on this girl. Was she or was she not sexually molested?
The police are not releasing that information. The autopsy report released by the coroner to the public indicated death by strangulation, that it was classified as a homicide. That is the only information that is officially released at this time.
But you're not denying it either.
I am not confirming it or denying it.
Police right now, at this moment, do police know where the Ramseys are specifically, not generally? Are they outside a house where they are and know they're inside there?
Police have not sent investigators to track down the Ramseys. They're aware that they flew into Jeffco early this morning.
Do they know if they're even in Corral, Colorado right now?
They have some indication they flew into the Jefferson County Airport, which is in Colorado, sometime this morning.
But they don't know if they flew on to somewhere else later on today.
They haven't been focusing on that today.
And why haven't they?
They are in the process of setting up an appointment with the Ramseys to talk to them. There's no reason to believe they won't cooperate. They've been cooperated throughout.
Are they setting that up directly or through attorneys?
I'm sorry?
Is that through attorneys or is it directly with the Ramseys? Are they talking to them directly?
We will be working, of course, through their attorneys.
Leslie, doesn't it make the investigations all that much more difficult if they don't have, I mean, these are the people with the most information about the crime, if they're not readily available to help police conduct this investigation? Doesn't that cause complications and problems?
No, the police are continuing their investigation. There's a lot of activity. I mean, they're working on the crime scene. As you know, we have people in Atlanta talking to friends and family members. We're not at a standstill waiting to talk to the Ramseys. Of course, that's a very key part of the investigation. We will be talking with them, and as soon as that appointment can be set up, we will have that happen.
But Leslie, do the police routinely allow key witnesses in a major capital crime, call them and set up an appointment to do interviews whenever they feel like it?
We had no legal right to detain the Ramseys from leaving the state to bury their daughter. There was no legal grounds. They were not under arrest. Nobody has been ruled in or out as suspects. They will be interviewed at a time that's appropriate when we can set.
That time? Will they set the appropriate time, or will the police set the appropriate time?
We are in contact with their attorney, setting that interview up.
Have any steps been taken to protect against flight? That these people would just get in a car, get in a plane, and just leave? Go to Canada, go to Mexico, go nowhere?
I'm not sure what the police have done or not done in this area. To date, there has not been any concern. The Ramseys have been cooperative, and we expect that to continue. Yes?
Kidnapping is a crime that's usually handled by the FBI. To what extent is the FBI involved, or if they're not involved, does that mean that they've verified that the body never left the house and that there was really no quote-unquote kidnapping?
The FBI were originally called in because it was called into police as a kidnapping. When the body was found, obviously it was a homicide. Police have been focusing their investigation on that aspect of the case. The FBI has provided some consultancy, sort of on an as-needed basis, but the key investigators are the Boulder Police Department.
Any word on handwriting analysis from the ransom note? 3 pages, that's long.
Police have not confirmed the length, the type of ransom note. Handwriting samples have been taken from family and friends. That is being analyzed.
Is there any other crime scene besides the house?
Why they waited for 8 hours to search the house?
I'm sorry?
Have either of you been told by the police chief why police waited for 8 hours before initiating, or they didn't even search the house, they had the father search the house?
I'm not aware of the chronology of what went on inside the house. Greg?
Leslie, 2 questions. One is, maybe I've been watching too much television, but it would seem that when police go to a crime scene and have potential suspects, and as this woman over here pointed out, close to the murder and knew certain circumstances, why you wouldn't separate them, sit them down, take a statement from both of them at that point in time, rather than allow them to be together for a week or 2 weeks to presumably concoct a story, if that's what they ultimately want to do, and then take a statement from them.
Again, I'm not aware of what went on inside the house from the time they were called to the crime scene till the time the family left that crime scene. What statements or what conversations took place is not something that the police are releasing at this time.
Also, I'm wondering, it appears that the chief has been doing some talking quite extensively to the Denver Post, and I'm wondering why he won't make himself available to the electronic media.
The police chief, including, and then the rest of the staff too, are focusing on this homicide. As you can all be aware, and I think I've told some of you, I've been handling this 15 hours a day. I don't think anyone would want the police to be spending that amount of time in lieu of properly and professionally investigating this case. That is where their emphasis is. That's where they've been spending their time. I'll take one more question.
Back to the forensic analysis of the ransom note. Is that being done in-house? Is it being sent out? There's people I've talked to say sort of ask the question without knowing any details, why that has taken so long, that certain people should probably be either exonerated or implicated by this stage.
The Colorado Bureau of Investigation is helping with the analysis of hair, blood, and handwriting samples. Thus, that is out of house. The Boulder Police Department does have a handwriting person on their staff, but I'm not sure he's specifically handling this case.
And then the second part of that, which is the time frame for that analysis, any information?
I'm not sure when that'll be coming back from CBI.
Leslie, one last question. Can you tell us what percentage of the Boulder Police Department is working on this case?
We have, if I remember correctly, a police staff of approximately 125 sworn officers. We have over 30 officers working on that case, so that's what, 25%, 30%? I don't have information about the case. That's going to wrap up the remarks that I have. I will let you know that we are not planning any public briefings like this or updates. Over the weekend, we will let you know if we schedule one on Monday. If there is additional information to release, we will do it by fax. If it's anything major, we will certainly let you know. And over the weekend, Kelvin McNeil, who is my assistant in media relations, will be helping on some of the pager detail. Same phone number, same pager number, and his name is on the top of the news release, which is over on the side here. You're welcome to a copy of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What challenge has it been for you?
I have a question for Mayor Durgan.
Mayor Durgan, could you answer, could you tell us what challenges have been for you?
Yeah, I just ended this.
I'm not understanding it.
Hold on a second.